You're watching the nation's newest Christian television network. We're the Gospel America Channel. Welcome to Real Talk with the Jenkins, with Gary and Marcella Jenkins. And now, here's Real Talk with the Jenkins. Welcome to Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
And I'm Lady MJ. And we are the Jenkins.
Now, as you can see, we've got a special guest with us today, and we're excited that he took the time out of his busy schedule to come and be with us, the next congressman for the District 11 Congressional District, August Pfluger. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, and his staff members with us as well, and we thank God for you, Gary. But quickly, because I know your time is pressing, we've read a lot of your literature on the fact that you spent 20 years in the Navy, or fighter pilot, did all that. Man, that's exciting. You know what I mean? Do you still fly, by the way?
Well, no, I'm an Air Force Reserve officer, but I don't fly anymore. Yes, my last flight was in the Middle East. It was
okay. Well, that's on my bucket list. I want to learn to fly. But anyway, and you worked with the National Security Council for President Trump during the Trump administration.
Wow.
We got something in common.
Yes.
Because I'm an older guy. I was with the Nixon administration, but I was at the White House back in 72 and 73.
Yes.
And they didn't have all the nice toys they got now, though.
Yes.
But anyway, you're running for Congress, and you have an opponent, I understand?
We have a few opponents.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So this is important for us to get the word out about your campaign. I understand that Mayor Brenna Gunter has endorsed you, along with a whole bunch of folks from this area.
Yes.
Drew Darby, our state representative, and let's see, who else is out here? I think
the state senator, Charles Perry.
Oh, okay.
Charles Perry.
Yeah.
You got the big guns supporting. Okay, well, us little guns, we're going to support you.
Yes.
We'll probably, before the primary ends, so we're going to stick our neck out there and say, we're going to endorse him for Congress too.
Yes.
How's that? So,
Thank you very much.
Anything that we can do on Real Talk with the Jenkins and Gospel America, we'll be happy to do that for you. Not looking for anything in return. No, I know how politics works. No, that's not it. We just want, I love your family, by the way. Lee Pfluger, we like him. You know, he's been a blessing to us. He helped us with one of our television shows last year.
Yes.
And of course, Cheryl is a blessing to us over at the Chamber.
Yes.
So anyway, let's talk about this campaign.
That's great.
Okay, you're running. Why?
You know, you mentioned I've been in the Air Force for 2 decades.
Yeah.
Wow.
But before that, I grew up right here in San Angelo, Texas.
Oh, okay.
And my family has been in the ranching business for a long time. I'm a 7th-generation Texan.
Okay.
And so I think that comes with a certain upbringing that includes hard work. It includes that Texas grit.
Oh,
Yeah.
But it also includes faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that, those lessons that I learned as a child growing up right here in San Angelo, that then, I took with me to the Air Force Academy and have spent 2 decades. I think service to your country was a big piece of that. And the folks right here in San Angelo, Texas, and throughout this district know how to serve their communities, know how to serve their family and their friends and their country. And so this is another way to serve.
Amen.
Yes.
Well, I certainly agree with you. I had a very brief political aspiration many years ago. I ran for mayor of New Haven, Connecticut, back in 2005, and that was it. I didn't win, but I got a nice portion of the vote.
Yes.
But be that as it may, I got a different calling, and the good Lord wanted me to spread the gospel around the world.
That's great.
So that's what we're doing here.
Okay.
Well, I think, you say that word calling, and for my wife and I, we believe that this is a calling, and that it's a path that was laid out, that we needed to answer the call to serve, like we've been doing, but in a different capacity, to represent a district that really is exceptional.
What are your main issues? And Marcella, jump in here and I mean, it's not just me here. I mean, she's my better half here. What are the main issues on your platform as you campaign?
Well, and as you mentioned, there's 10 candidates that are running for this.
Wow.
So there's not a whole lot of difference on what we believe. There are some differences, but for me, when I look at this district, when I look at where the country is headed and what we need to protect and fight for, and especially as we watch some of these debates that are ongoing, the presidential debates, that are trending towards socialism and things that we have fought so hard to get our country where we are right now, that I don't want to see that slip away. And so there's a lot of things that go with that. You know, first and foremost, the values of this district, I'm pro-life.
Okay.
I believe in protecting the unborn.
Yeah.
I believe in our Second Amendment rights. I believe in a strong border.
Me too.
And securing our
Yes,
country.
yes.
And that's, you know, we do need immigration reform. We do need to make sure that this country addresses that in a meaningful way that meets the needs of the labor requirements for the local economy, and especially in this district where it's agriculture and oil and gas. But right now, those three things that I just mentioned, pro-life, Second Amendment, and border security, are really the top three things that I want to address and make sure that we stand up for, just like President Trump has done.
Okay.
Right.
Well, he took a bold stand, and it wasn't popular by the liberal movement, but he took a bold stand and wants to get the wall completed and
Yes.
do immigration reform that's meaningful. But as we look at all of these social issues that are hitting our nation, of course, I watched the Democratic debates, Iowa, Nevada, you name it, and it's just like I see so much of I've got to get out front because I'm the best candidate kind of thing, and I don't see the concern for people that they're going to be serving as constituents. And that's what's missing in that. And when I looked at your commercial, which we're going to show that a little bit in the show too.
Yes.
And although we're not supposed to, but this is an independent television network. So
Yes.
hey, you know, this is our network. We do what we want to do within reason. So, but we're going to show a little bit of your commercial. But what attracted us was, as I said before, your stand on faith and on traditional family values. That seems to be really threatened.
Yeah, it does, and I think that is what has made this country great throughout the 200-plus year history, is that we were founded on agrarian principles. We believe in families. District 11 believes in those family values and making sure that we can raise our children, you know, with, in our case, with Christian values, that they understand the difference between right and wrong, that they take responsibility for what they do, and that they become citizens and productive citizens, people that are willing to serve something other than just themselves.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. Now, so I know you've been kind of curious about this new candidate here for District 11 in the form of August Pfluger. What's on your mind?
I'm just listening and absorbing. I have never been like really political. I don't understand all the things, but I'm learning quickly. Definitely being here in San Angelo, because it is a small town and we get to like rub elbows with the candidates and things.
Yes.
So I stand strongly for pro-life. You know, I do believe that if we're going to have pro-life, we need to have some type of solution. So I believe that if we tell a young lady that she needs to go ahead and have the baby, what are we going to do for her?
And I think that's a great example of what a community like San Angelo, Midland, Odessa, you know, all throughout this district, even into Granbury and Hood County. There's a lot of folks that are out there in the communities, like the Pregnancy Help Center right here in the Concho Valley, that are offering assistance. And it's not a governmental program. This is something that is done by the community.
Okay.
That they show you that sonogram, and they allow the young women to know that there are options.
Options, yes.
And that it's about love, it's about compassion, it's about letting them know that, this is the right thing to do to protect that life, and that there are other options available. And I think that's really effective, and they've seen we went to the annual banquet this past fall, and just a tremendous banquet with 500 plus people in attendance supporting this cause and very interested in showing young ladies and women that this is something it's worth fighting for.
Yes.
Well, we're going to go to a commercial break because it's that time to pay the bills. But you're watching Real Talk with Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ, and we are the Jenkins.
Real Talk with the Jenkins will be right back after this commercial break.
My family's worked the farms and ranches of West Texas for 6 generations before me. Through boom or bust, they've never left, always finding a way to make ends meet. Growing up in San Angelo, I learned the values of hard work and caring for your neighbors. It's why Camille and I chose to raise our 3 daughters here. As a U.S. combat veteran who spent nearly 2 decades serving our country at home and abroad, I've seen firsthand why preserving our American way of life is worth the ultimate sacrifice. Unfortunately, the liberal elites in Washington have a different idea. I'm August Pfluger, and I'm running for Congress because we owe it to our kids and the generations before us to fight the radical socialist agenda that threatens our way of life. I will fight for energy independence and protect our farmers and ranchers. We must secure our borders, fight terrorism, both foreign and domestic, and defend our conservative values. As a national security advisor to President Trump, I've seen how he is strengthening America and making us prosperous again. I've also seen firsthand the kind of serious threats our nation faces from ISIS, China, and Russia. As your congressman, I will never forget where I come from, and I will work hard every day to defend our traditional Texas values. Because as those who worked this land before us knew, faith in God, family, and this way of life are worth defending. I'm August Pfluger, and I approve this message.
A message from Cardiology Associates of West Texas.
Hello, I'm Dr. Milton Leon. I'm a board-certified interventional cardiologist. I have established Cardiology Associates of West Texas over the last 13 years. Cardiovascular services in the patients of San Angelo and the surrounding communities. If you have heart disease or if you suspect that you may have heart disease, please call our office and one of the board-certified cardiologists will evaluate you. We'll be glad to assist you with any cardiac or vascular problem you may have. It's also important to remember that it's better to prevent heart and vascular disease before it becomes worse.
My name is Travis with Grace Transmissions. Here at Grace Transmissions, we have a reputation for customer service, and we've been serving the San Angelo area for over 45 years. Our focus is you, the customer. So whether you need a diagnostic check or a complete transmission service repair, we're here for you. Grace Transmissions, where service meets quality, and that's our #1 priority. We are here when you need us.
Gray's Transmissions, 1202 Pulliam Street, San Angelo. And now back to Real Talk with MJ and Dr. G.
We're back. You're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
And I'm Lady MJ, and we are the Jenkins.
And he's not a Jenkins, he's a Pfluger.
But it's great to be here with you.
Yes, yes.
Well, we're going to adopt him anyway. He's going to be Pfluger Jenkins.
Okay.
We talked about the issues that are important to you and why you're running. But let me ask another question. What do you see as the #1 challenge? Assuming you win, you get that congressional seat, you're in the seat, you're in the hot seat now.
Yes.
What's your #1 challenge?
Well, I've kind of alluded to it. I really do think that the security of this nation is our biggest challenge, and that takes on a couple of different forms. I mean, we've talked about border security, and that is important. And I think that when we look at what the president is doing to try to secure the border, yes, it is a physical barrier. It's a wall that he's trying to build, and I support that. But I also think that it's also providing more manpower and having technology and things that can really fill the gaps and the voids where we need that. But let's take that one step further.
Okay.
In the national security discussion about what this district is doing.
Yeah,
that is
what's
special.
District 11? What's our role?
Well, it's a 29 county district, and it goes all the way from Andrews over by Midland, Odessa, clear across to Hood County and down to Llano. And so in this district, there are three major things that are going on. You have oil and gas, you've got agriculture, and you've got an Air Force base here that's training 12,000 airmen who are doing intelligence work throughout the world right this very second to protect us. And so all three of those things can be put into the context of national security. And when I look at that, I think there's an education that needs to happen on the oil and gas industry, because they're producing right here in the Permian Basin 5 million barrels a day.
Wow.
And for the first time in 70 years, we are a net exporter of oil in this country, which allows
I
us
didn't even know that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's an incredible advantage that this country has. It's a strategic resource, and the education that needs to go into the body of Congress and throughout the rest of the country is that inexpensive energy is allowing us to do a multitude of things, including a strong economy and providing our president leverage around the world to negotiate from a position of strength. Agriculture is the same way. It's helping us get trade deals with Mexico and Canada, trade deals with China.
Wow.
And so when I look at those two things, I see national security, and that education needs to happen. So if you ask me what's the biggest challenge, I think it's educating other members of Congress who are not from here why the things that we're doing right here in District 11 are so important and so critical to this country's security.
Okay, so, I was speaking with State Representative Drew Darby not too long ago, and he mentioned the oil and gas industry because that's a big thing here. And what do you see as a trend? Are we going to expect higher prices in oil and gas, or is it going to kind of level out?
Well, prices, it's hard to say because I think that's a free market issue. But what I do know is that the demand is going to continue to increase throughout the world. And so because that demand is going to increase, there's still going to be a need for the folks right here in this district, in the Permian Basin, to produce energy for the rest of the world.
Which
not
in
just for
turn
this country.
translates to a stronger economy.
That's exactly right.
Oh, I got you.
And so the innovation that's happening, just the ability to provide that energy throughout the world is what allows this economy to be so strong, and it's what allows the rest of the world to operate in a strong manner with an economy that is helping a lot of people around the world.
Okay, now, you mentioned security, securing the border, and we talked about our economy. What about jobs? What about employment? Do you see that as an issue that you need to tackle here, especially in the 11th Congressional District?
I do think it's something we always need to focus on. Our unemployment rate throughout this district is in the mid threes, 3.5% on average. So we have a strong economy right now. We need to continue to fight for that. And the number one threat to that economy, in my opinion, is an overregulated federal government that imposes regulations on the country. And so that is something that I think this trend.
For instance, that's a pretty strong statement.
Well, if the federal government gets involved into the free market enterprise in a way that imposes regulations that doesn't help the businesses, in other words, it actually, it imposes more requirements and more unfunded mandates and things that are not helping. Well, that in turn would slow the economy down. And I think we see it in the healthcare arena, we see it in a lot of different arenas that we don't need the federal government to get so involved in everything. We need the private citizens who are innovative and who are imaginative and want to be prosperous to do their thing.
My guy here.
Yeah.
I tell you, my sentiments exactly. You were getting ready to say something?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, I didn't want to just ignore you.
Well, I was just wondering, when is the primary?
It's March 3rd, isn't it?
It's coming up, yes.
Yeah, that's
Is
right.
this coming Tuesday?
It's coming up Tuesday, March 3rd. Early
so-
voting
Wow.
is going on.
Okay, so since this show's on Saturday, hey folks, don't forget to get out there and vote in the primary coming up on March 3rd. And please remember this guy right here, August Pfluger. He's running for congressman of the 11th Congressional District, which covers San Angelo and all of the 29 other counties. in Tom Green and 28 other counties. And so it's important to get out there and vote, okay? All right. What do you say to a person who does not know you, they've never seen your commercials, and they say, August Pfluger, who's that? You know, what would you say to somebody like that and why they should vote for you?
Well, this starts back to when you say you don't know much about politics. I'm starting from a position that I've never been in politics.
Okay.
And I've been in the military for 20 years. So what I say to them in 15 or 20 seconds is I'm a 7th-generation Texan from a ranching family. Mm-hmm. I attended the Air Force Academy and spent 2 decades serving, have deployed all over the world. I've flown F-22s and F-15s,
Wow.
have combat time, have commanded in the Middle East, and have served this country in a way that is honorable. Mm-hmm. And recently worked for President Trump. As an active duty military officer, I worked in the National Security Council at the White House. And so my experiences have led me to this point. My wife and I are very passionate about serving this country. We've been doing it, and we want to take what we've learned, the lessons that we learned, the values that we grew up with, and we want to take that to Congress, where I think we need a little bit more service before self. And so that is a problem in our Congress today that I think we can
Sounds
help
like
with.
the Air Force, service before.
That's
right. I retired from Goodfellow Air Force Base, by the way.
And thank you for your service,
thank you
because
for
both of you
yours.
serve this country in a way that we really
Thank
need.
you for yours as well. Now, speaking of family, and we had the honor of meeting both you and Camille last night. How does she take in all this? Because when you're running for a congressional office, it's a lot of energy and a lot of time, and you're handshaking all over the district. How does she feel about all of this?
You know, you're right. It is a tremendous amount of work, and it's, like I said, we're no stranger to service because we've been doing it for 2 decades, but this is a unique position to be in, where you're serving in a different way. And so we feel very passionately that this was a step that we needed to take in faith, which we did. Through a lot of prayer, we made this decision. Mm-hmm. She is an incredible woman, a very strong person, my confidant, and the person that I go to for all the advice that I need. And so when we talk about doing this is a team effort. It's something that she and I believe very strongly in doing together. We do have 3 beautiful daughters that are, you know, they're in school here, and so it's a balancing act to try to take care of the girls, make sure that we still have our family life, and then do this campaign.
You know what it's like on the campaign trail.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
What do you think?
What I think about
the family, the impact on the family.
it has a big impact on the family, you know. Yes, you do need your family support, and not only, it just takes time away from the family.
It does.
When you're on that trail.
And that's the hardest part.
Yes. And it does take a strong woman, absolutely. I think that strong woman behind a man is what makes him successful.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And in my case, it's definitely true. And, you know, I think one of the neat things that we've seen through this process is we made this decision, and I hope that our children and our daughters will grow up and, you know, yes, it is a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice for them.
Yes.
But what I hope that they'll say and learn from this is that it's okay to take that step in faith, even if success is not assured.
Yes.
But you feel that calling, well, go do it. Remain faithful through prayer, which you know we've had to rely on that quite a bit through this process. But that's what I hope that our children will learn through this.
Well, they've got certainly a great example to look up to and to learn from. But we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be back in a moment. You're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
And I'm Lady MJ, and we are the Jenkins.
Real Talk with the Jenkins will be right back after this commercial break. From the Eagle's Wings International Ministries in San Angelo, these are the announcements of upcoming events that you don't want to miss. So save the date. First, it's Armor Up Men's Fellowship with 6 speakers from across the city, Sunday, March 8th at 3:30 p.m. at the Eagles Wings International Ministries, 718 West Avenue Y in San Angelo. Don't miss this great event. Then, it's the ordination service of Minister Michael Luckett, Sunday, March 15th at 3:30 p.m. at the Eagles Wings International Ministries, 718 West Avenue Y, with guest speaker Superintendent Jackie Allen from Miracle Temple Church of God in Christ. Don't miss the 4th church anniversary celebration and the 33rd pastoral celebration of Apostle Dr. Gary Jenkins, Saturday, April 4th at 6 p.m. at the Bentwood Country Club, 2111 Clubhouse Lane, with special guest speaker Pastor J.C. Cantu. Tickets are on sale now for $25 per person. Don't miss this great event, the 4th church anniversary celebration at Bentwood Country Club. And now back to Real Talk with MJ and Dr. G.
We're back. You're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
And I'm Lady MJ, and we are the Jenkins.
And with us is Lieutenant Colonel August Pfluger. He is a candidate for the District 11 congressional seat here in West Texas. And we're going to be talking about some things that are important in the sense of campaign style.
Yes.
You know, in politics, there's a lot of people. You've seen it on the Democratic debates. You've seen it in other debates.
Yes.
You've seen it all over the country. And people are just not nice. They're so busy trying to win the seat that they, you see them all starting to sling mud. And I just wanted to ask you about that. How do you feel about this campaign style that you see on television, and what is your campaign style?
You're right, and I think that's what people are tired of, is that divisive, polarized nature, that at the end of the day, we're all Americans, and we're all on the same team, and I do try to keep that in mind, and I think our military background, we understand that better than most, just because we've been on the same team. We've been fighting for this country, and so that really is important to us. And when you look at, our Christian values, that just doesn't seem to be a part of the values that I know I want my daughters to understand and to grow up with, that I grew up with. And so we are very proud of the positive campaign that we have run.
We certainly wish you well in the campaign. We hope and pray that you win. But regardless of who you vote for, just get out and vote.
Yes,
it's important
yes.
to vote. And if you're not a Pfluger fan, okay, vote for whoever you want to vote for. But, as for me and my house, we're going to vote for Pfluger. But anyway, I want to thank you again for being with us. We got to get out of here. You've been watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
And I'm Lady MJ, and we are the Jenkins.